Hello, this is State Senator Jeff Stone with my weekly Capital Update. This week, the governor released his first draft of his proposed budget for the coming year. In short, he proposed spending just over $122 billion from our state's general fund. How does he plan to spend the money collected from our taxpayers? First, the proposed budget calls for putting a little more than $1 billion into the state's rainy day fund. That's good news, because we can assume a significant deficit in future years if we fall into another recession or if we're stopped from using the federal credit card that we've come to rely on for far too long. I was happy the proposed budget laid out a plan that keeps state spending largely in check. The governor clearly knows that we can't continue spending money we just don't have to pay for programs we just don't need. My hope is that the legislative Democrats heard this warning, that the state can't spend more than we can afford. We have several challenges in front of us, and as we review the state budget, we'll work hard to make sure our budget is truly balanced. But the Democrats have to realize several things. First, the governor's projected a $1.6 billion shortfall this coming year, but legislative Democrats have already proposed more than $1 billion in new spending. That's why I was happy to hear the governor say he doesn't think it makes any sense to spend money we just don't have. Second, the federal government can't be our bailout for programs we just can't afford. We've relied too far long on federal funds to pay for bigger government in the state of California. With the new administration coming to Washington, we need to reevaluate how we pay for things like providing services for those who have come into our country illegally. We have to recognize that the best way to grow our economy and our budget is to start encouraging businesses to locate here. And we can't do that by doing business as usual. To create jobs and create more taxpayer revenue, we need to let the private sector get back to work and to help them by reducing regulations and cutting the red tape that too often stifles economic development. So, as we go through the coming months and evaluating the budget, I'll be working hard to make sure that our state dollars are wisely spent. For example, we don't need to put a $65 fee on the sale of new cars while we're giving pay raises to state employees. Likewise, we don't need to increase the gas tax from 17.3 cents per gallon to 21.5 cents per gallon while we're failing to fix our roads. What is this $1.1 billion going for? High-speed rail? That's just not acceptable. We also need to figure out how we're going to deal with our budget if federal funds for the Affordable Health Care Act dry up. With nearly 40% of our state on Medi-Cal because of Obamacare, how are we going to deal with the possible loss of $15 billion if Congress and the White House makes good on their promise to repeal and replace what clearly is a failed system? In short, we've got a lot of work ahead of us this year. Over the coming months, I'll keep you updated on the status of our state budget and committees that I work on and what's going on. Rest assured, though, I'll always be a vote for taxpayers and common sense. If you have any questions, please call my office or visit me on my website, Facebook, or contact me by email or Twitter. And as always, it's a true honor to represent you here in the state capitol.